Hi there, I'm Mike Wolf, and welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurs Making a Difference, where we connect entrepreneurs from all over the globe so they can do bigger and better things together. And today I want to welcome to the show Anthony Diaz. I'm going to read his bio. Anthony's a divorce empowerment coach, a family law attorney, and mediator who has guided those healing from the pain of divorce to find true happiness, meaning, and purpose in their lives. In addition to working with others affected by divorce, Anthony has personally experienced the pain and healing from his own divorce. He realized it was time to help others navigate through the divorce process, move on, and heal easier with a life filled with happiness and infinite possibilities. Anthony is a co-author of the books Faces Behind the Pages That Inspire and Creating Relationships and Family with Courage and Compassion. And he's currently working with clients who are ready to heal and move on from their divorce now. So welcome to the show, Anthony. Great to have you here.
It's great to be here, Mike. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it's totally a pleasure. So obviously, these days in this day and age, divorce is it's running rampant, and so you must be very busy, I'm guessing.
Very busy from an attorney standpoint as well as a coaching standpoint. There's so many people out there that are going through the process, and I'm just blessed to be able to help navigate with them.
Yeah. So I know your mantra is divorce the divorce, and so what does that mean, and what does that mean in terms of helping your clients?
Sure, sure. Well, one, it's catchy, so it's
Sure.
easy
Yeah.
to remember, and it's a good understanding of what people are going through. Most people understand the legal process of divorce, and they understand going to court and having to work out details of children and assets, and that's the legal side. What people aren't prepared for is the emotional side. And when I say divorce your divorce, to move on from divorce. It's not just moving on from the legal side. It's divorcing the emotional part and be able to let go of things that you've been holding on to, not just assets and things that are happening during the legal process, but a lot of emotional things that go on that's holding you back from moving on. So by divorcing your divorce, you're really looking at things that are holding you back from moving on for the rest of your life.
Right. Right. So was there a defining moment where you knew this is what you were meant to do? I mean, because you went from were you always doing like divorce law? Is that what your family law, I guess you would say?
Yeah, well, I've been doing that for a while, but I wasn't always doing that. In fact, when I went through my divorce, I was an attorney, but I wasn't practicing family law. And actually, that was my awakening, my epiphany, so to speak. And I wanted to share that with you because it was really made a difference in my life. So here I am. I'm an attorney and going through a divorce. And I thought this is going to be a piece of cake. I don't practice family law, so I'm going to hire somebody to do that. But I'm a lawyer. I understand the legal process. This is going to be easy. What I found out was it was the most painful experience of my life, and I wasn't prepared for it. I was angry. I was blaming. I felt guilty. I felt a lot of shame. And Mike, it was really a wake-up call for me as I was able to move forward, because I realized here I am, I'm an attorney, and look at the reaction I'm having, look at the feelings I'm going through, and it allowed me to look at people who don't have a legal background. I can't even imagine what they must be going through, not understanding the law at all. So I decided to get involved with family law, to be a family law attorney, to help people through the legal process, and then decided to help people after their divorce, because I saw a lot of people were getting hung up when the divorce was over and not being able to move on. So that divorce experience for me really allowed me to look at the process a lot different, and opened me up to how I can help people in different ways.
Right. So, why do people, I guess, in your experience, why do people find it so difficult to move on from divorce? What are some of the things that I guess are recurring themes in your clients?
Well, what I see mostly is the pain is so great that people don't know what to do with it. They're so caught up in the loss because it's a loss. I equate it to like a loss of a loved one. Even if you decided to end the marriage, it's still a loss and it's still painful. And people don't know how to process that. So what they do is they keep playing over the story over and over again. Either they're the victim or they're the blame. And when you look at a situation like this as being the victim or the victimizer, you can't move on, and you stay in that pain. And that's when people come to me, is I help them to look at reshaping and reframing the way they're looking at the divorce, and it makes a difference.
Exactly. So, if somebody were to come to you right now, what was, I guess, the first step in moving on from your divorce? What would be the first thing, first action step that you would take for somebody who's going through the pain?
Sure, no, that's a great question, and it's a question that I ask myself when people come to see me. And the most important thing is to see where they are in the process. They could be either in the middle of the legal process, and that's kind of one place. They could be newly out of the legal process. That's another place. This might be 3 or 5 years later, and that's another place. Each of these landmarks come with it a different feelings. So by understanding where they are, it helps me to walk them through what they're feeling, why they're feeling it, do they want to keep feeling it, and to be able to help them to move on. So really understanding where they are, not only in the legal process, but in the emotional process of how they're processing this painful event in their life, is really the starting point for being able to guide them through the process.
Right. So, are you still you're still practicing as a lawyer as well as doing the coaching? You're doing both, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, who were some of your influences going from being a lawyer to doing something entrepreneurial? That's a big step. I mean, being a lawyer is a lot of education, and then taking it a further step and adding another layer to what you do. Was there somebody that inspired you, or was there a certain book that you read that really inspired you? I find most entrepreneurs have something that popped up in their life, either the right person or the right book, and suddenly inspired you to go and take it a step further.
Sure, sure. Well, the book that inspired me to go from being an attorney now to coaching people was The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And I still go back to it. In fact, after our call today, I have a appointment with myself to go back and review some of the chapters. It's the one book that I keep going back to, and it's a step-by-step process on how to be not only more successful professionally, to be a better person. And it's just an amazing book that I recommend to anyone. It really sets the foundation of setting goals, professionally and personally, how to make changes, how to go through difficult experiences. So it's an amazing book that I've highlighted it all over the place. I've tabbed pages. I have notes in there. It's just an amazing book. The person that's inspired me the most has been Wayne Dyer. We're fellow graduates of the same college, St. John's University, and he's gone through an amazing transformation in his life. He was a psychologist. He became very well known as an author, and he was at the top of the top, and he wound up falling all the way down with a lot of personal issues in his life, and he regrouped and made the changes that he needed in his life, and now he's back guiding people more spiritually and to be an inspired mentor to people, and I just think it's a great example of no matter what happens in your life, you can pick yourself up and get back on the horse again and get moving.
Yeah, both great influences and both very inspirational leaders. And I love asking that question and of entrepreneurs because it gives me a reading list, and now I'm like 800 books behind. I'm gonna read. I haven't read that one actually, but I do love Jack Canfield and Wayne Dyer for that matter. So let's talk a little bit about your books. You have 2 books, and tell us the viewers a little bit about your books.
Sure. Well, thank you. I appreciate you asking. The first book is a book I co-authored with a number of authors. We all got together. We were chosen by the person who published the book because we all had Facebook pages, and that's the title, The Faces Behind the Pages That Inspire. And all of us inspire people from a different genre, and mine was divorce and family law. Other people had other geniuses, and each of us wrote a chapter in this book. And it was an amazing experience for me because it allowed me to share some personal parts of my life, parts I had never talked about before. And it's a great book for anyone who wants to be inspired by people who have had challenges in their life and have are now making a difference in other people's lives. So if people want to get that, they can go to my website, and it's a great read. 33 authors got together to write this book. So the second book, which is the most recent one that came out in January, Creating Relationships, again co-authored by about 8 or 9 folks, and each of us work with people and families that are looking to either keep families together or to heal from the pain of separation and loss. So each of us wrote a chapter, and my chapter was on the people that I've worked with on how to heal the pain from divorce and separation, and how to take responsibility for your life as part of the healing process. Again, that's a free ebook, and anyone who'd like a copy, they can email me, and I will I'll email them a copy.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm sure that'll help a lot of people. So you obviously are working with people that are at a very low point in their life, and I'm sure it's very fulfilling to help them get over that. Do you ever get caught up in it, though, where their emotion kind of makes you you get caught up in it yourself?
Oh, it happens all the time. It really does. I mean, even with my clients, they're going through a lot of pain, and I'm their first line of defense. And a lot of times their last line of defense. And if you think of a baseball game, and I'm the only fielder in the game. I'm the only one that's going to prevent the ball from getting out of the ballpark. So they really rely on me emotionally as well as professionally, and sometimes they get they're so emotionally involved that they're going to lash out at me if the outcome isn't going their way, or things aren't working out the way they want. And it's an opportunity for me to take a step back and remember that I was in their shoes not too long ago. And it helps me to come from a place of empathy and compassion, because they don't want to lash out, they don't want to be angry, but they have no place to go sometimes, and no one else to talk to. So it helps me to get them back on track and just to understand what they were going through, and that helps them to kind of snap out of it and to realize that I'm on their side.
Right. So what modalities do you use to work with people? Is it generally a one-on-one thing, or do you sometimes do like some kind of group coaching or online, or how do you work with them typically?
Sure. Well, the most common way is one-on-one coaching. A lot of people have very specific needs and specific they're in a place in the process that they really need one-on-one coaching, and sometimes that's the most effective. I also do group coaching when I have a group of people that have a lot of similar, they're in a similar place, or they're similar roadblocks and ways that they're getting stuck. Having a group coaching live program is very effective for people to, not only for me to be able to talk to a group at once, they can hear other people going through the same thing, and that's very helpful for them. So I offer group coaching. I also just released my first online program. It's called Divorce Your Divorce Now, and it's 7 steps to moving on to heal your life, to live and love again. And I go through, there are 8 modules that people can buy, and it's a step-by-step process. No matter where you are in the divorce process or in the emotional healing, you will find a path and a way to be able to let go of what's holding you back and to move on. So I'm very proud and honored to now be able to offer people kind of a self-study program to be able to work at their own pace and to interchange the different steps. They may go from step 1 to 6, back to 4, depending on where they are. But it's overall a very comprehensive program to help people going through divorce.
Yeah, it's very powerful. The ability of the internet to have obviously a large reach, and so it allows you to have help a lot more people than just working with them one-on-one. But when you do work with them one-on-one, is that usually during the divorce process while you're representing them as a lawyer, or would it sometimes be after or before, or how does that work typically?
Really, it's all of the above. I have clients that are open to coaching, and we can work together during the legal process if they're ready. That's really the ideal time, because people wait until after the divorce is over and they're like, what's next? So I really like to work with them during the legal process, because there's a trust level involved, and if people are ready to start moving on emotionally during the legal case, that is a great time to start, because by the time the legal case is over, they've already worked through a lot of the things that are holding them back, and they're ready to start moving on. Some people aren't ready during the legal process, so we focus on that, and if they want to work with me after the process is over to go through the coaching, we can do that. Typically, my reach has been people who aren't my legal clients, and folks that want to work with me after the divorce, because they realize they can't work through these parts on their own, and they hire me to stop the pain and start healing. And that's where typically a lot of my clients have come from. But ideally, the best place to start if they're ready is during their legal case.
Right, exactly. So I know that it probably varies greatly, but what's a typical length of time for people to get kind of back on with their lives again? Is there a certain time frame that you see, or is it just so much variance and it's just so hard to say?
There's really a lot of variance, but my experience and what I've seen is it takes a minimum of 3 months, because it's a process, and you can't force the process. There are feelings that have to express themselves, and there's a life to them, and everyone has a different lifespan of how long it takes for them to start moving on. But it's normally a minimum of 3 months, and in some cases it's gone up to a year. And what I've seen is the longer that people have gone since their divorce to coming to me, the longer it takes them to go to work with me, because accumulated during this time are a lot of feelings, a lot of things that haven't been dealt with. So it takes a while to unravel that. It's like the onion keeps getting bigger, and there's more to unravel. That's why the earlier you start on the process, it may be scary, but there's less to unravel, and you'll be further along in the process. So I would say, anywhere from a minimum of 3 months, and it could be up to a year.
Yeah. So if somebody's watching this right now, maybe they're either contemplating a divorce or they're going through a divorce, what would be your message to them?
Wow, that's a loaded question, but
I
you know,
like to keep them on their toes.
exactly. My message to them would be um, that you have all the answers you need inside, and a lot of people don't know this because they look for answers outside of them. But really, all of us have all that we need to solve any problems or any challenges, and it may be locked up in a place, and it may be in a scary place, but to know that you're not alone, that no matter how scary it is or how unknown it is, that you will get past it, and you'll get past it when you can trust yourself and to trust that you have the answers, and that you have everything that you need to know, but you just need a little guidance and a little help to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, what percentage of people I heard the statistics are almost like 50-50 for divorce, for relationships ending in divorce. What are the statistics these days?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of runs around 50%, and I think that's the general. What I think is the most, even more telling from that is second marriages end in divorce even greater than 50%. So what that's saying is there's a higher likelihood that a second marriage will end in divorce than the first marriage.
Which is kind of almost counterintuitive because you think you'd figure out what you're looking for, or maybe you
Yep.
have a better idea of who you are, but I guess not.
Sure. Well, what it's saying is that people really, we're creatures of habit, and we're creatures that want to bond with other people. That's what we were born to do. We were born to love. We're born to have loving relationships. So when you go through a divorce, you still want to be in relationship with people, and you still want to love again, and still want to try it again. But what happens is people haven't taken the time to heal and to learn and to grow after their first marriage ends in divorce, and that's really the time to really work with themselves, and if that's not working out well, to reach out to somebody else, because statistics have shown that when people take the time to learn about what happened and to go inward and to figure out what really went wrong, those are the best chances of having a successful relationship the second time around.
Yeah. What about what's the statistics on third marriages? I can't even imagine what that looks like.
You know, I don't know if anyone is looked at that, but I am hoping that those statistics are better, that people have didn't learn in between the first and second, and after the second said, okay, universe, I got the message. I need to learn what happened, and whatever it takes, I'm going to learn. And what though has happened is the time between second and third marriages have lengthened as opposed to first and second marriages. So what I'm hoping that means is that people are consciously not entering into another marriage until they've done some soul searching.
Yeah, that's probably some really good advice right there. So we're running out of time. This show goes so fast. It's
Oh, I
been a pleasure
know.
having you here, of course. But how can somebody get a hold of you if they want to work with you?
What they can do is a couple of ways. If you go to my website, it's anthonyjdiaz.com, just like my name is spelled, ANTHONYJDIAZ.com. You'll see my website, and you can leave your name and email address, and I'll contact you. You can also contact me directly. My email address is anthony@anthonyjdiaz.com, and I'll be more than happy to talk with you. And anyone that emails me, I will work with them for 30 minutes at no charge, and to see if it's a good fit for both of us to work together.
Well, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for making those offers to our viewers. I'm sure they all really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Mike, and it's been a pleasure, and I just love what you and Debbie are doing. It's just amazing the energy that you are creating out there, for entrepreneurs and for all of us, including yourself, that is living our life with passion and meaning. So thank you.
Oh, well, this is totally a labor of love for me, and I know I can speak for Debbie as well when I say this does, this is just a blessing, and I'm just absolutely having so much fun with this. And it's an honor to be able to connect to entrepreneurs from all over the globe, and it's just I don't know, I'm loving every minute of it. Put it that way.
Well, you're doing an amazing job. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thanks for being here, and also thanks to our viewers for tuning in today to Entrepreneurs Making a Difference. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks to everybody once again for tuning in.